Hi everyone, my name is Heidi Lim and I'm the Chief of Staff at Opus 12. We're a Berkeley-based company that has developed a technology to recycle carbon dioxide into chemicals, fuels, and materials. At a high level, our technology takes CO2 and water as inputs, and we use renewable electricity to split up those molecules and rearrange them in the presence of a novel catalyst membrane to make valuable products that are conventionally produced from fossil fuels today. We see an opportunity to address up to 3 billion tons of CO2 annually, which is about 10% of our industrial-related emissions, and turn those into valuable products that touch into a $300 billion petrochemical sector. These are our three co-founders. Kendra and Natasha were at Stanford at this chemistry lab where they discovered there are actually 16 different types of chemicals that can be produced in this process. They also learned what makes a good catalyst. And since then, we've scaled to about a 30-person team, and we have our own facilities in Berkeley, California. We have our first commercial systems available and scaling up to our industrial units now. Right now, we're focused on producing two products, first being carbon monoxide, which is the basis of many chemical products and materials such as polycarbonate, which is like the hard plastic on your taillights or your headlights of your car. It's also in electronics and many other different sectors. And polyurethane, which is a foam, such as the foam in a running shoe or the foam in a seat cushion. And then also jet fuel and other fuel products can be produced with CO, as well as other products. Ethylene is the basis of most modern plastics. So from now on, we'll have a lot of electric vehicles that need plastics in them. Ethylene could be the basis of those new types of plastics. One day, you'll be able to take a flight across the Atlantic on a carbon-neutral flight, wearing clothing and carrying items that are actually made from CO2. We think about our CO2 impact in two ways. The first being the CO2 that's actually consumed in the process of making our products, and also the CO2 avoided because we're not using conventional processes. So for ethylene, for instance, that's about a 5-ton benefit. This is how we can impact large-scale emissions. We've raised over $20 million to date. We're currently raising a Series A round and happy to talk to others about fundraising and partnerships. Notably, on the commercial side, we've worked with Shell, IHI in Japan, and we also recently announced a partnership with Daimler, with the parent company of Mercedes-Benz, where we produce the world's first automotive part from CO2. This is only one of many materials that we can impact, and in an automobile, as well as other products that we're used to interacting with every day. Our core technology is a membrane that fits into an existing reactor design called a water electrolyzer. So we make these membranes and fit them into an existing reactor design. We have a manufacturing partner with one of the world's largest electrolyzer companies in the world, and this is how we scale up faster and take advantage of the high maturity and high energy efficiency of these systems. Today we have our dishwasher system number 1 here, where we're consuming kilograms per day of CO2, and we're scaling up to our megawatt system number 3 over the next 2 years, and at that size we'll be able to address tons per day per unit. That is the modular scale for us to get to large-scale emissions at the hundreds or tens of thousands of tons per day of CO2. Our customer base is essentially companies that need to reduce their emissions, companies that can use the products that we can make, and large-scale renewables companies. So there's a large reach among those 3 categories. Thanks so much, and feel free to reach out to me after this. I'd be happy to connect. And again, we're raising a Series A and looking for partners.
Wonderful. Great. So thank you so much for your presentation. Do we have Heidi on the line?
Hi, yep, I'm here.
Perfect. Good evening. So we have a few questions coming in from the audience. First one is, are the end products CO and ethylene at cost parity to traditional methods for making them?
Yeah, great question. So there is actually a pathway to be on cost parity. It is one of the questions that we get often is, why are we doing this now? Why are we creating this technology today? And one of the reasons is because there's actually a trend where there are 3 cost declines that we're riding on right now. And those 3 cost declines are the cost of electrolysis, the cost of carbon capture, and the cost of renewable electricity. And so because of those 3 cost those lower costs and continuing declining costs, we can actually be on cost parity and eventually potentially even cheaper than conventional methods.
Great. So yeah, next question from the audience is, can you speak to your IP and how it's protected?
Yeah, so our core technology is the membrane. And so that contains like our novel catalyst and kind of the other ways that we produce the methane. So that's, we do have some patents pending and also some IP out there. And then there's additional kind of secret sauce that we're not going to be posting IP about. But that's where our core technology is.
Great. Yeah, and the last question is, can you tell us a bit about your work with Shell and IHI?
Yeah, so we've had a lot of kind of partnerships on the R&D side with some of these companies. So IHI has supported our work in the ethylene side, and Shell has supported our work on the carbon monoxide development side, and they're particularly interested in fuels.
Great. So for the remaining questions, Heidi will be sticking to answer those to the Q&A box. So if you have any remaining questions, feel free to type those in. And thank you so much for joining, Heidi.
Great, thank you.